Well, good evening, everyone. Hope you're well. It's great to see you again. And we've just been catching up, haven't we, Martin? We have been pondering already, privately between ourselves. It's what you do on the pondering couch.
Yeah.
But now here for public consumption and for your enlightenment, we are going to talk a little bit more about Acts 8, Martin. And you preached on Sunday a couple of days ago. Just this incredible story where they've kind of broken out of Jerusalem now, haven't they?
Yeah.
Stephen's been killed. There's that terrible event, isn't there? And then God, in his creativity, somehow uses the persecution to actually get them to do what they've been told they'll do. They'll preach the gospel in Judea and Samaria and the ends of the earth. So we're in Samaria.
Yes, we are. Yeah. So I really enjoyed it, and there was so much that I could have preached about. So Philip in this, also Simon the Sorcerer. We didn't really look at him at all, but there's just sort of one thing that I wanted to pick out, and this was the kind of in the narrative. Philip was baptizing people, but then it wasn't until Peter and John came that the Holy Spirit came. So I sort of found myself like, well, does that mean that we have two baptisms? Because some people believe that, but then somewhere in Romans it says, but when you're baptized in water and spirit, and all that kind of thing. So I was sort of digging around trying to figure out what was going on. So this is my conclusion, okay? So feel free to challenge. So at this point, Philip's gone, and he's basically started doing something new. He's gone from giving out food, and now he's sort of proclaiming the gospel. And then people are coming to Christ. And then Peter and John come, and the Holy Spirit comes. And I think it was probably for Peter and John's benefit more than the community there. So they were seeing these Gentiles being impacted by the Holy Spirit. They were sort of moving amongst this as well. It also says in here that Peter and John went to Samaria, but then when they come back, they actually go into every town preaching the good news. So they've changed their head of what the mission is. They've gone like, I think it's at the start of Acts where Jesus commissions them to do the end of the earth. So I sort of found that really encouraging.
And it's amazing, isn't it? We were talking earlier about how, I think it's the end of Luke 9, you've got that occasion where the disciples are travelling through the Samaritan villages. The Samaritans say, no, you can't come this way, and that was common practice at that time for Samaritans and Jews not to get on. And on that occasion, James and John are the ones who say to Jesus, can we call down fire from heaven, or can we curse them and do some slaying or whatever. And now this is how Jesus changes people. Now here we have John on his way back through Samaria. He's not doing that anymore. He's preaching, and he's seeing evidence of how Jesus is at work.
So like going from calling down destruction to calling down life. That is like, how black and white is that? And kind of how much. I also thought, what does this mean to us as leadership? I suppose with Peter and John, they've sort of the apostles, they've commissioned people, and I think it's something that actually, if you guys feel called to go and do something, we want to be the ones that are encouraging you and
absolutely
and pushing that. And I think it's just amazing, this momentum that's happened where they've done some serious teaching, they've sort of given the Spirit. And then the next group of people have sort of gone out and stretched out further.
It's amazing, isn't it? We were talking about this, but we had a bigger discussion in ministry team this morning, because we look at these passages, don't we, a little bit in advance, and there is that amazing kind of cycle in Acts all the time where, like we've spoken about how so often one of these passages ends with, oh, and by the way, the church kept growing. Oh, and they kept on preaching, and lots of people kept on being added. And it's as if every occasion is a sort of test, isn't it? God's doing something new, and am I going to roll with it? Am I going to run with it? Even though I might feel a bit, whoa, well, this is not normal, and this is not how it works. Am I going to roll with it? And invariably they do. And in their openness, they create the possibility of even more things happening. I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Right, I think that's enough pondering for now.
I think it is.
I feel like we've pondered to the max for this session.
So, yeah, but really helpful. And I think next week it's going to be one of us sitting here with Denzel and reflecting on what Philip does next and who he meets next.
Yes.
And the Ethiopian eunuch story. So next Wednesday evening, one of us will be here with Denzel pondering on that as well.
Okay.
But for now, we'll see you soon.
God bless.
Bye.
Bye.